Today we will be unboxing and reviewing the brand new Black Adam comic book figures from Mcfarlane. These are really cool, so let's get into it. Now, if you haven't already noticed, I do of course collect the DC line by Mcfarlane Toys. I'm quite a big fan of these. I think the presentation of the figures, the articulation, how they look and display is really high quality. There are better figures out there, don't get me wrong, but for the price of about £20, these are a really good line to collect. I also like the variety that they go for. It's not just movie figures, it's not just comic book figures, they pretty much cover all mediums, which I'm a huge fan of as well. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the plan is with this line of figures, but for this release they've done four characters to go with the Black Adam comic book. Now, this comic book actually comes with each figure, so I'm assuming it's the same issue with each, so annoyingly if you buy the whole line of figures you get 4 copies of the comic book, but hey, I think it's a cool idea to give away comic books with figures anyway, so I'm a fan. Now, as you can see by the back here, the characters in this line are of course Black Adam, Batman, Superman and John Constantine. All really cool characters, and when I saw this line in my local store, Firestorm Games, check them out, I just had to get them all. I couldn't just pick up Batman. Though it is a very cool version of Batman, I had to get the whole line. Now, we'll start the unboxing and review straight away, and let's start with the title character, Black Adam, and then I'm very quickly going to get onto Batman, because trust me, it's awesome. Now, I've obviously skipped straight into the unboxing, because although pretty cool packaging, not a lot to say about it. The only art is the comic book cover art and then a picture of the figure itself. I'm always a fan when they do pictures of the figures as well as character art, so we kind of have that here. Okay, let's start with the figure itself. This one is of course Black Adam. Okay, now that that's finally out of the box, first thing I want to point out is way too much elastic holding him into the plastic. I just don't understand the need for it. They fit so well into these molded plastic containers that the elastic just seems unnecessary, and it always takes ages, especially with a knife instead of scissors, to kind of dig through it, but that's a really minor complaint. The figure itself looks really nice. I'm actually really impressed. The face mold is very good. Obviously this is a comic book based mold, so we don't have too much to base it off. It just looks like Black Adam. He's got the signature kind of V in his hair, which Dwayne Johnson is unfortunately missing in the upcoming Black Adam movie. The armor looks great, but the cape especially, though it's not material, it's still plasticky. It looks fantastic. I'm assuming I'll be cutting away to some close-ups here for you to see the details, but yeah, I'm really impressed with that. It has a very strong smell. That rubbery, yeah, it's a bit more rubber than plastic, but yeah, smells very strong. He has one kind of claw hand and one fist. I like that. I think figures, especially figures like Black Adam, Superman, that sort of character, always look more powerful and menacing with closed fists. He also comes with these yellow lightning bolt things. I'm not much of an accessory guy when it comes to my figures. I always just display them as they are. As you can see, I don't really put them in poses with accessories, but a lot of people are into that, so that's a win there if that's you. Yeah, I don't have a lot else to say about this. The articulation seems very good. They have a double elbow joint, which is really cool, so it bends at the elbow and a bit more at the forearm. That gives it a bit more of a realistic movement, I guess. That's quite cool. His head turns nice. It can look up and down. Great. Yeah, it's got articulation in all the important areas apart from the wrist, but that looks great to me. Shoulder pads even lift up and perhaps even come off. No. The shoulder pads stay on. Okay, that's Black Adam. Let's have a quick look at the comic book. We'll obviously just look at this once rather than with every single figure. Of course, they each come with cards, just as all of the other Mcfarlane figures do. Which, by the way, I'm a super nerd for collectible cards. Let me just show you what I've done. I actually have this binder here filled with all the cards for the DC figures, so you can see just how many I've got here. And yeah, this isn't enough for me. I need more. There's plenty more pages to fill, so my poor bank account. Unfortunately, the backs of these have descriptions on the individual characters, but I think the front is just that generic comic book art, which is a bit of a shame, I'm not going to lie. Okay, the comic book. Now, again, I'm not actually sure if this is an exclusive comic book for this figure line or if this is a republished older story. I've never really read any Black Adam comics. I'm only really familiar with him through Justice League stories. But the art is very nice. It looks like it's kind of kicking off halfway through a story, so maybe this is an original story. Who knows? Can someone in the comments answer that? I'm not actually sure. There's a lot of adverts in this, though, I'm not going to lie. Okay. Yeah, that's essentially a short story with a lot of advertisement for DC Comics, which is fine. Buy DC Comics. Happy days. So, that is Black Adam. Boom. Done. Let's move on to the one that everyone is here to see, including myself. Batman. That was bad. Batman. No, that was still bad. Batman! I'll work on it. So for this one, we'll skip out on the card and comic book, of course, because it's just the same, and we'll go straight into the figure. This may be my new favourite Batman design. It's actually kind of an olive military type green on the armour, which I never thought I'd say this, but I'm quite a big fan of that. Typically, I'm very much go grey or go home. I'm not a fan of the all black bat suits. I can take them or leave them. It has to be grey with the black logo for me, and I can definitely deal with the yellow and black logo, of course. I'm a big fan of the Batfleck suit. If you don't already know, I've got a screen accurate version of that myself. It's the perfect live action suit in my opinion. But I do also have a lot of time for Robert Pattinson's suit. It looks very practical, very tactical, and very real. This is clearly taking inspiration from that. Again, if this is a new release, I'm assuming it has taken inspiration from it. I don't think it's an older version that Matt Reeves took inspiration from, but yeah, I think that is a fantastic design. It looks very armoured, but it looks very movable. It looks very functional. And that's exactly what Batman needs. As for the colour, the kind of greyish green, that's right up my alley. I think that looks fantastic. At the end of the day, Batman should be kind of tactical, right? He's not a soldier. No, he doesn't use guns, but he uses utilities and accessories and needs that kind of body armor and tactical, stealthy approach to his missions and to his crime fighting. So this makes perfect sense. He also looks absolutely badass, and that bat symbol is lovely. It's quite Arkham, but I'm a big fan. I really don't have any complaints about this. I even like the utility belt. There's a bat symbol in the middle. The color is very nice. Again, he's got one hand kind of in like a gun position, which I'm assuming will hold the Batarang, which comes as the accessory, and the other one is a closed fist. As I talked about a minute ago, big fan of closed fist power figures. Articulation is very similar to Black Adam, moves in all the right places, that double elbow joint as well. Does the head move? Yes, the head even moves up and down, left and right. Really good articulation. The cape looks very dynamic and flowy, even though obviously it's just rubbery. The utility belt actually goes all the way around. Very cool. I am going to put that with my main Batman display shelf here. I wish you could see the entire display. I actually have. Let me count. This is my 21st different Batman figure. If we count this, 22nd. That's quite a lot. But this is definitely up there with some of my favourites. Huge fan. That's a 10 out of 10 for me. Well done, Mcfarlane. No complaints. No complaints at all. We'll move on now to John Constantine before we get into the Man of Steel. And here is John Constantine. I've never really been... I'm not going to say not a fan of Constantine. I've seen the movies and I enjoyed him in some of the CW shows, but I've never really been a Constantine comic book reader. I don't go out of my way to read the things that feature him, but everything that I've seen with him in, he's a very cool character. Very, very likable. This figure looks exactly how I picture the character, so they've not gone too crazy. Like, for example, this Batman figure, it's a very different look from Batman. He's wearing an olive, green, grey type armour. And the more I look at that, the more I love it. Whereas this, it's white shirt, grey trousers, and that classic trench coat with the blonde hair. So this is very much John Constantine. The face mold is good. It looks like it's ripped straight from the comic books, which I love. The trench coat has got a nice leathery texture to it. There's a nice little rip in the trousers, which I like. The tie actually hangs loose and is not stuck to the body as part of the plastic. More wins for me. He's got two open hands, but again, like I said earlier, that closed fist look is more for those big, brooding, powerful characters like your Superman, Black Adam, Batman. So this is cool. The accessory for Constantine is I guess a spell book and a hand with a spell on it. So again, you can have a really cool pose there for this character. Articulation-wise, exactly the same as all the others. Yep, all the main points, and they're hidden well. Like the creases in the trousers there hide the knee joints very, very well. So again, really no complaints. This is a really solid line so far from Mcfarlane. One more to get through. He looks good in the box, so let's take a look at the Man of Steel Superman. And here we go, after some effort again getting him out of the box, we have the Man of Steel. Thoughts on this straight away, I very much like the colour of the blue. If we compare this to a traditional Superman figure, let's go with this one. Very, very traditional Superman. You can see the difference in the shade of blue there. This is very vibrant, this is a bit duller and darker, and I'm a fan. Bit more Man of Steel type blue, you know? As for the face, again, classic, typical, strong Superman face, and I'm a big fan of that. The cape is a little bit weird and oddly shaped. I'm not a fan of the cape. It's obviously supposed to be dynamic and flowing, but I think I would rather that previous Superman figure cape that I showed you just then, where it's clearly crinkled and free-flowing, but isn't kind of stuck in that pose. He has closed fists, which again I like. Double elbow joint. Yeah, cool. All the same articulation. The boots are very almost Wonder Woman-esque, but more of a V shape than a W. But I dig it. Yeah, there's not really anything to complain about this. I like my Superman to be a little bit musclier. He should essentially look like an unstoppable god. He looks a little bit lean. If anything, I'd say Batman looks a bit hencher. Which, I'm not complaining about. Batman's Batman, but Superman should be jacked, right? So, yeah, but obviously this is coming directly from this comic book, so no complaints. Huge fan. Now let's talk about this line, this release as a whole, all 4 figures. What do I think? To be honest, this is one of the first times I've actually bought an entire wave of figures as a full set at once. Normally I pick up the ones that I want when I see them. As for this line, I'm not trying to collect everything. All the DC multiverse figures, I'm not trying to collect every single figure. I'm just getting the ones I like and the ones I want. I saw this wave and thought, I've got to get all of them. They all look very, very cool. They're a different line. They're called Page Punchers. I don't know what's going on with that. I haven't looked too deep into it, but they seem to be doing lots of stuff within that. Now, as for the set, there is not a single figure here that I'm disappointed with in any way. They are all fantastic. As for Batman, like I've said 5 times throughout this video, one of the coolest Batman figures I own, without a doubt. I cannot wait to put him on my display so you guys can see him in every video that I do. Now, would I recommend this set? 100%. 10 out of 10 in terms of Mcfarlane figures. Let's not forget we're reviewing this as a Mcfarlane line. There's definitely better figures out there, for sure. But I'm really happy with what Mcfarlane are doing. I'm going to continue supporting and buying their products, and I hope they keep the license for a long time. Now, with this Page Punchers line, again, I'm not too sure what exactly they're doing with it, but they seem to be releasing previous, like, well-known and successful comic books with little figures. I've seen a few of them in my local store with Superman and Flash and Batman and stuff on. So I've picked one up, which I'll open now as kind of a bonus to this video. I don't think it's worth doing its own unboxing on, so I'll add it into this if you're interested. So this one, I believe, is part of the Hush storyline. So it comes with this tiny little Batman here. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with him, but it's Batman. I saw it. I bought it. It actually has some articulation. Okay, just in the legs and arms. It's kind of cool, I'm not going to lie. I don't really know what I'm going to do with him. If you compare it size-wise to these. Yeah. Cool, though. I mean, I'm essentially paying a tenner for a comic book and they've chucked in a tiny little figure. A comic book that I've already got, obviously, as well, so it's kind of a rip-off, but it's also a cool way to get people into comic books. Yeah, it is just chapter 1 of Hush, and they're chucking, again, it's just another way for them to advertise more graphic novels and storylines and publish their larger story arcs. I get it, it's a business, it makes sense, and I actually think this is quite a clever way of doing it. Give kids a cool little figure, and they also get to read a classic Batman story and go, oh, there's other Batman stories I can read? Great. Fantastic. If it gets people into comic books, I am all for it. That's it for my review for that. It's just a little bonus thing to chuck in for you guys to check out if you didn't know about them. Okay, I'm starting to ramble. Let's round this up. Guys, this Mcfarlane DC Direct Page Punchers line is definitely worth your time, especially if you're into collecting pure Batman figures. This is a must. I love him. I want a cosplay based on that suit. Okay, that's it from me today, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to pick up any of these figures yourself, and you're in the UK especially, check out Firestorm Games. Well worth your time. If you pick them up in the next few days, I can get you 5% off with the code TTA-promo. We'll give you an additional 5% off. Their prices are already better than most. That's it. I'll see you next time. Don't forget to return to the Batcave for more Bat content. See you guys.